Well, good evening. Once again, beautiful jazz musicians of University Prep, and welcome to another edition of tonight's Vinyl Delights. It's Monday, first Monday of spring break. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying some downtime and playing your instruments. Had a great time at Practice Club today with a couple of folks who showed up, which is really nice. We'll do it again at noon tomorrow. If you want to come and practice, all we do is talk about what we're going to play, and then we mute ourselves and we practice. And it's just a way to hold ourselves accountable. It's always nice to have somebody else there kind of egging you along. And so now that I know that at least a couple people are probably going to show up every time, I have some motivation to show up and play too. So join us noon tomorrow for Practice Club. Check Schoology for the details. All right, so tonight we are going to feature one of my favorite albums of all time. This is Herbie Hancock's debut album on Blue Note Records from 1962. It's called Takin' Off. And, Herbie had been on the scene a couple of years by this point, and he had definitely made a name for himself, such that Alfred Lyon, the owner of Blue Note, was able to get people like Dexter Gordon and Freddie Hubbard and Billy Higgins and Butch Warren to record Herbie's debut with him. It's a phenomenal lineup for any record, especially when it's your first and you're what, like, I don't know, he was probably like 22 years old at this point, I think. One of his biggest hits ever came from this album. It's the first track on here, Watermelon Man. You know it, you love it. But I decided I would focus on one of the other songs on this album. This song is called Driftin'. And I've always loved it. The head is super cool. The arrangement of it is neat. I just like the way it's all laid out. And then the solos are just fantastic. Both Dexter Gordon and Freddie Hubbard play remarkable solos on this piece. They are just masterclasses in harmonic development, rhythmic development. Everything they do is follows the last thing they did. Dexter's big fat tone is in there for all to hear, and his playing is remarkable. And then Freddie takes over on the flugelhorn, and he plays that instrument so beautifully. And again, just every single thing that comes out of his horn seems perfectly logical and placed just right and still spontaneous and new and awesome. And then Herbie takes a remarkable solo on here as well. You can hear everything that we've come to love about Herbie in these early solos. Like, he was already so developed as a musician that so many of the things that we kind of take for granted as Herbieisms, they were all present, even at this early date when he was in his 20s in 1962. This particular pressing on here, this is a little bit of a later pressing. This is a Liberty pressing, which means it was made on the West Coast instead of the East Coast, but it still has the RVG stamp on it, and it's still just lovely. But any version of this you can get your hands on, I highly recommend. It's 6 tunes. Every single one of them is terrific and just displays some awesome playing. Also, for you rhythm section folks, I really want you to dig how Billy Higgins and Butch Warren work together, because these guys work together a lot over the years. They were both part of the Blue Note stable of rhythm section guys, and they got called to play on tons and tons of sessions, and they developed a rapport. And Billy Higgins' ride cymbal is unlike anybody else's ride cymbal, and Butch Warren's quarter note is just fat and huge and just placed right where you want it to be. The tension between the hi-hat and the bass is just so fantastic on here. And it's really a testament to Higgins and Warren making the time to play together, learn each other's idiosyncrasies, learn each other's quarter notes, and really figure out how to play together. And then, of course, Herbie, as the other part of the rhythm section, can't really beat that. So rhythm section players, frontline players, soloists, whoever you are in the jazz context, you can learn something from this record. I encourage you to check the whole thing out, as always. And of course, Herbie's got such an illustrious career. He's one of these guys who kind of changed over time and let his music change with him. And so he's got, everything from straight ahead jazz to funk to hip hop music to pop ballads and standards. I mean, the guy, obviously can do everything. And we're so fortunate that he's still with us, still playing today, is still a huge light on the scene. So go check out some Herbie Hancock. This is where he started, but you got a long way to go in your discovery of Herbie's music. Herbie Hancock taking off on tonight's Vinyl Delights. Have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.